Surprise! I am back with Geek Classic before Spider-Man Homecoming in just 2 days. I'll bring you my spoilers-free, of course, review for Spider-Man Homecoming, but I am here to finish my trilogy reviews for Spider-Man, the original trilogy, because my OCD just wouldn't let me not finish it. And this Sunday, a new Geek Classic series will start with Rise of the Planet of the Apes in anticipation for War of the Planet of the Apes. But of course, spoilers ensue. Let's talk about Spider-Man 3, which was directed once more by Sam Raimi and SONY, and also written by Sam Raimi, Ivan Raimi, and Alvin Sargent, who also wrote the last film, and SONY. And it stars once more Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, joined by Thomas Hayden Church, and Topher Grace, and Bryce Dallas Howard. In Spider-Man 3, life is going well for Peter Parker. He's in a good relationship with Mary Jane. He asks her to marry him, but this strange black goo from a meteorite bonds with Peter Parker and causes inner turmoil as he contends with new villains, lots of new villains, temptations, and revenge. But wait! There's more! This film also deals with the love triangle between Mary Jane, Peter Parker, and Harry Osborn, who, after being in an accident in which he loses his memory after confronting Peter Parker for the first time, after becoming the new Goblin, he's completely wasted in this film because despite the whole trilogy been building up to this, to him being the final boss, the final villain for Peter Parker, he just loses his memory for more than half of the film. But wait, there's more! Peter Parker and Mary Jane are having relationship troubles. MJ is having professional troubles. Sandman has a sick daughter. The symbiote which lands on Earth makes Peter Parker become a very bad person, which leads to this. God damn it, Sony. But wait, there's more! There is yet another love triangle between Peter, MJ, and the character they want you to believe is Gwen Stacy, but we'll get to that. But wait, there's more! Eddie Brock is trying to sabotage Peter's professional life, he's trying to sabotage his work, he is dating Gwen Stacy, and of course, he eventually becomes Venom for 5 minutes, maybe 10 at most. And of course, Aunt May can't be left out, so we deny Peter's whole reason to become Spider-Man, and that's his guilt for Uncle Ben's death, and we make Sandman be the guy that accidentally shot Uncle Ben, and not the guy that Peter accidentally killed in the first movie. That's just the plot of the movie, guys. Let me get the good out of the way. The beginning of this movie, I think it's great. How Peter Parker is in a good relationship, how the symbiote lands on Earth, even though, yes, these are too many subplots. I like the symbiote landing on Earth because it could have been used for a later movie. I like Harry and Peter fighting. I like the struggle they go through. And I like it until the moment Harry falls on his head. I like the actors. They are all very good in this movie. In fact, taking out 127 hours, I think this is the best performance of James Franco in his career. I think Harry Osborn is the best character in this movie. Yes, even counting the plot that he was indeed given of losing his memory and not becoming a very compelling character, I do think Harry Osborn is the best character in this film. Mary Jane is maybe a tie with him for best character because not only is Kirsten Dunst once more great, but unlike Harry, she's not a total douche. Unlike Peter, she's not a total douche. She's the only character in this film who is not a total douche, besides J. Jonah Jameson. But he's supposed to be a douche. Peter Parker just becomes so unlikable in this film. I mean, really detestable. I mean, that's not Peter Parker. And that's before the symbiote. When he does get the symbiote, it becomes compelling that he goes through this inner turmoil because we all have darkness within ourselves, and this movie does explore that. It does attempt to explore that. Given the reflectitude that he gets from his other villains, Harry, or Venom, or Sandman, god damn it, too many villains. Peter Parker does become an even more fleshed out character in this movie, but Peter Parker becomes so unlikable. He's just so oblivious to anything. Mary Jane is having a bad time at work. She's losing her job. She gets fired. And Peter Parker is just, oh, no, it's okay. Just, you know, get back on the horse. It's going to be fine. Yeah, I'm Spider-Man. And what was the whole point of making Sandman the guy who shot Uncle Ben? By accident, of all things. I mean, this guy already has a whole plot to himself. He's a criminal, but he has a daughter that makes him a human being with flaws but with good intentions, but still a criminal. He becomes a monster even though the scientists should have checked what was in the sandbag and not just pretend it's a bird.
There's a change in the silicon mass.
Yeah, it's probably a bird. It'll fly away when we fire it up.
And Thomas Hayden Church is probably one of the most underrated choices of an actor to play a role. He's as faithful to the comics as an actor chosen for a superhero or supervillain role can be. And I think he is great in the role, and the fight between him and Black Suited Spider-Man in the sewers is spectacular, and the special effects are awesome in that scene. I mean, the whole special effects on the Sandman are great till the end. The birth of the Sandman is one of the most compelling aspects in the whole Raimi trilogy. It's all visual storytelling. No words, just a fantastic score by Christopher Young and incredible visuals. But also right before the first confrontation between Spider-Man and Sandman, this cop just goes to decapitate the person that is underneath the sand because he doesn't know that this guy can become sand. He just saw a guy going over to the truck and he's going to just impale him with his shovel. Holy shit. But yes, the movie gets boggled down by so many subplots. Let's talk about Bryce Dallas Howard. I'm not calling her anything else. She's in this movie. I really like this actress. I think she is very underrated. She is not Gwen Stacy. I don't know if the writers or Sony even just thought of the name Gwen Stacy or just read the name Gwen Stacy and didn't even explore the character and said, put Gwen Stacy in the film. Just add her. Put her in there. She's important. I don't know what she is like. I don't know what type of person she is. Put a blonde woman and call her Gwen Stacy in the film. Also put her father in. His name is Captain George Stacy. Let him be the one who tells Aunt May and Peter Parker that his guilt is stupid. Because if Sandman did kill Uncle Ben by accident, he wasn't even involved with Peter Parker until this very movie. I mean, he shouldn't have become Spider-Man because there's no need. And my god, despite liking James Franco's performance and what it does give, despite very flawed, to Harry Osborn, the scenes with him and Mary Jane are just so cringeworthy. They are just so forced. They seem to be out of this movie completely. They seem to be the scenes that we were missing in the first movie when we find out that they were dating. That's how bad these scenes fit into this film. And despite Mary Jane being a very likable character and having her own understandable struggles and her own understandable turmoil with Peter, this should never have happened. I mean, why the hell? And let's talk about Topher Grace's Eddie Brock. This is the one thing people, holy shit, they lost their minds over. I like it. I like it. I like the intention. This is supposed to be a mirror image of Peter Parker. Remember when I told you that Peter Parker is a super pathetic guy? They are the same height. They have the same general bone structure. They look like opposite sides of the mirror, and that's what it's supposed to be. Too bad the movie doesn't do anything else besides this. Oh, the movie does, actually. One is a good guy, we know it from the last two movies, and another one is a douche. Good job, movie. I really do detest Peter Parker at some points in this film. I really do detest what they do with the character. We'll get to those scenes, but the fact that he changes his hair color from his natural brownish color to black, and the beautiful eyelashes that he does have, those are hilarious. And I cannot get over the fact that Peter Parker is happy with the woman of his dreams that he has loved for the past 2 movies, ever since he was a child. Aunt May, is that an angel? And he is now overly infatuated with Gwen Stacy. How and why? Especially because, again, this is not Gwen Stacy in the least. But yes, let's get to the jazz sequence because it fucking sucks. And look, I will say this, the intent of these scenes were great. Remember when I told you once again that Peter Parker is an uber pathetic person? These scenes are supposed to display how a pathetic person, this uber nerd, this uber loser, is supposed to think that a cool guy is supposed to be. and is supposed to complete fail. But Peter Parker, with the symbiote, instead of giving him rage and anger and just making him the most piss poor, angry, violent person in the world, does this to him. That doesn't fit whatsoever. If this was Peter Parker before the symbiote with his problems with Mary Jane, that would be fine, I guess. But it's just too much, because it's another plot point going into this movie that doesn't fit at all. The tone even is all over the place in this film. Another scene I do really like is the bare knuckle brawl between Peter Parker and Harry Osborn when he gets his memory back. But after that, we get into the love triangle, the drama, blah blah blah, and we get this scene. That's just lazy. It's lazy. I mean, at least you should have seen a door move or the smoke of a goblin bomb, something. But Harry Osborn cannot just do this. He is not Doctor Strange. He is not Spider-Man to have him glued over the ceiling so Peter Parker can't see him. That doesn't happen with Harry Osborn. And I'm going to go over the third act very fast. It sucks. It's a repeat of the first movie, not even the last movie, the first movie, where Eddie Brock kidnapped Mary Jane after becoming Venom for like 5 minutes after an impressive church scene. The church scene is one of the top 10 scenes in the whole of the Spider-Man trilogy, the Raimi trilogy. It's fantastic. I love how it's shot. I love the score. I love the cinematography. I love the acting. It's impressive. It's pitch perfect. But after that, we get this third act, Mary Jane being kidnapped once again, and being just so lazily put on a cab, and that cab being hung over by black webs. Hi guys. But I will not deny it's cool to see Harry Osborn with his face all scarred up, coming to save Peter Parker, realizing that he was wrong all along. And together they defeat Sandman and they defeat Venom, and Sandman regrets what he has done in this film, and that is also very good. And then Harry sacrifices himself and he dies, but to get to these moments, we had to go through shit. Shit. And that makes these moments work like 20-15% maybe? And those 20-15% work because we know Peter Parker, Harry Osborn, Mary Jane from the previous films. We already attached to these characters from previous movies. And this movie was a major letdown. We started off very strong. We reached perfection as far as Spider-Man is concerned. And then we went down the hill. And this movie does have its qualities. This movie does have its ups. That is strong writing in here. There is strong directing in here throughout the film. There are 2 spectacular sequences alone in this film. The CGI can be very well utilized, most of it has aged well, but there is so much over-reliance on CGI in this movie. I commend the first 2 films for being very practical, very Sam Raimi movies. This one, you can smell the turd that is the interference of Sony in this film a mile away right from the get-go. And I said I would mention this, but the best parts of this movie are still J. Jonah Jameson.
Not that one. Not that one. Drink plenty of water.
Thank you.
This guy is the best. I don't get tired of him. This movie gains extra points because of J. Jonah Jameson. I think the acting is good. I think the directing is good. I think the interference of Sony boggles down this movie so much. There are 3 entirely different movies found within Spider-Man 3. You could have had a fantastic movie. You could have had a fantastic movie with Harry Osborn, New Goblin, and Sandman. Take Venom out. Have Venom land in the beginning of the movie, leave him out until the end so we can build up to Spider-Man 4. Have Harry Osborn be the main villain. That's what the whole trilogy has been building up to. And then by the end, have Harry regret himself and have Harry and Peter Parker Spider-Man become a team. Take Gwen Stacy out. Take Sandman and the fact that he accidentally shot Ben Parker out. Take all these minimal, stupid subplots that by the end don't mean shit and take them out. Spider-Man 3 does have its qualities. Again, I can enjoy this movie. The parts that are good in this movie are borderline excellent, the same quality as not Spider-Man 2, but Spider-Man, the first movie. But it's surrounded by shit and studio interference that just decreases the quality so much. Spider-Man 3 was an unfortunate, tragic accident to a trilogy. It's not horrible, but I have to say, whether you watch it or not, your heart will go on. But what did you think of Spider-Man 3, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Were you as disappointed as me? Were you even more disappointed? Were you less disappointed than me? Let me know if you like this movie, if you dislike it, if you agree with me on what I said, if you find other qualities in the film. Let me know in the comments, and there's a link in the description to the beautiful Geeky Community Facebook group. And in 2 days, this Friday, June 30th, I'll have my spoilers-free review for Spider-Man Homecoming. I can't wait. I hope to see you there. So until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so we can be geeky united!